Hey, happy Friday night, everybody. Welcome to season 6, episode 1 of Audiotopsy. And we got something coming, and I don't know about you, Kenny, but I don't even know what's coming. So this will be a true reaction show for me today. But I'd just like to do a little disclaimer at the beginning of these shows. We are not doing an ordinary reaction show. A lot of the times we're listening to songs we're very familiar with, and we're not really listening to it continuously as a whole song. What we're really focusing on is the lyrical content and whether or not that content has a biblical worldview or it does not have a biblical worldview. So we tend to pick songs and albums and artists not based upon their worth of being admired, but on the content of the lyrics and if there's anything biblical or philosophical to glean or learn from those lyrics. So that's what we're about here, and we hope you like it.
Guys, we're Christians, so we're going to have a Christian worldview, but non-Christians are welcome to see what us crazy Christians believe, okay? I saw a comment a couple weeks ago. Somebody said, I thought this was a reaction show, not a church service. So somebody got upset talking about Pink Floyd. And man, what's going on with Kenny? He keeps disappearing.
I don't know, man. We got a magic act going on today. Yeah. Yeah, you know, that's a problem, Tom, with doing something that hasn't been done before is people that people don't know what you're doing. And, you know, I know Kenny can attest to this too. There's certain rules about where you don't cut off guitar solos, and I'm totally like on board with that, but it's not really what we're doing here. We're doing presuppositional analysis of song lyrics and what was in the head of these lyricists and what was their world view and what was meaningful or what can be gleaned out of it. And so it really is kind of a unique thing that we're doing here. This isn't just listening to music and saying why it makes us feel good.
Guys, I got a good one for you today, and I can't wait to see you guys respond to this. I don't know if any of the audience will like it, but I think you two will like it. But
I hope it's Disney.
You hope it's Disney. Guys, as we record this, a few days before this airs on Friday night, but as this airs, it's been a few days since the passing of Mike Heiser. Okay, and this is something that you know that we've been anticipating for a while. We know he's been sick. We watched him fight for a couple years now, and as this man is fighting cancer, he's still putting out content. He's still praising God. And he's still working. Just as we record this, it's only been a day. But Kenny, you have taken courses from Mike Heiser, of course, the Unseen Realm. This guy was legend. Can you share anything that's on your heart about?
Yeah. Hey, I can tell you, Mike Heiser plays such a huge part in my faith and walk. I always felt like there was more. And coming across his stuff early on, just his talk, his papers on Deuteronomy 32 worldview, and I realize I'm starting to find that there's a lot of people just like me. I just recently started chatting with Doug Van Dorn, and we have a very similar aspect of where we came together. I'm reading one of his books. I'm like, hey, and where Heiser plays work. So Heiser for me, I've been kind of following him for probably over 15 years now. It just everything he talked about just kept bringing me closer. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been thinking about. I've always wanted, in my own churches, and nothing against them. Heiser made a great thing about Christian Middle Earth and how that what I thought was great. The greatest thing Heiser ever did was he was a top-notch theologian, scholar, all these things, spoke many Semitic languages, had all this stuff, yet he brought it down to a level that people down here, lay people, were able to come into it and accept it. And I remember I would study a lot of his things, and when I saw he was opening a school about right around the time the pandemic was going on, and I was looking at it, I'm like, gosh, man, am I ready for this stuff? And and I was thinking, I've read his books, I've read all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm going to go take a class with Michael Heiser in Awakening School of Theology. And when I did, I remember the first day I was like, okay, I'm over my head. This is going to be crazy. And the first class with Heiser he has this great dry sense of humor. But in the first lecture, he was using Monty Python to teach theology. And I was like, this is my man. I felt so at ease. I was like, man, he got concepts across. He was a very funny guy. I never really got to speak to him in person, but I had a message with him on different things. I finished his school. I did 2 years of classes. I took a couple more. I was really glad to see him get a couple more classes in this last year. Even when he was his poor health, he still, man, was just such a wealth of knowledge, and he will be such a thing for people for forever, man. It's like I said, he's gone, but he's got, decades of material people can use. And I really hope that people like myself and stuff who've taken classes and done things who just like his teachings and stuff will keep it going. That's what it's meant to be. And that's
very similar to Chuck Missler, who's gone. Russ Dizdar is gone.
Yep.
Their body of work lives on.
Yes, exactly.
And it's really cool. People like Chuck Missler, Russ Dizdar, and Mike Heiser, they kind of take teaching and training and turn it on its head. You know what I'm saying? And it's not what you would expect. I think we are definitely influenced, here at Through the Black, and many of us, and maybe people tuning in today that somehow found, did a search for this song or this popped up, and they're like, what's up with these guys? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a little bit of that today. But with that being said, I want to jump into this song. Katie, I'm going to ask you to turn it up so we can hear the intro to this, because I just think this is really neat sounding. Should I give you the name of the song and the band? I'll be surprised if you guys have heard of this band.
Just put it up.
Let's put it up. Okay. Put it up.
Let's
go ahead. We're going to jump into this song, and you'll be able to see right away. So here we go.
I like the way you smile at me. I felt the heat that enveloped me. And what I saw, I like to see. I never knew where evil grew.
Okay. The Poppy Family is the name of the group.
Yeah.
Okay. Where Evil Grew, or Where Evil Grows. Have you guys ever heard of that band, first of all?
Yeah, actually, I'm in the fan club. I've been in it for about 40 years now. Dude, I've never heard this song before. I dig it, but I was like, Poppy Family, cool, man, nice find.
Is it 60s or is it 70s, Tom?
I think it's 1972.
Hey, that was a good year.
Yeah, it's good.
So, and it sounds like it's from outer space in 1972. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I dig the music already, man.
I'm liking it. I like it so far.
It's got that little crock. Yeah, it's cool.
So, and the sound doesn't really fit the name of the band. Like, you think of maybe the Partridge Family or something, the Poppy Family. As I'm sitting here, we're starting this, the show's going live, we're recording. I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't really do any research on the band. Like, I don't know anything about them. Don't we usually do that?
Yeah. There goes all my questions.
Yeah. Well, don't ask me.
Well,
maybe I don't know if you'll be able to bring up Wikipedia, but they're out of Canada. I know that, and the singer's last name is not Poppy. So, I think of poppies again. I don't know what it's named after. I think of the poppy fields, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think you guys will find this song interesting, and you only heard it once, but so far, what do you think of the lyrics? She said, I like the way that you smile at me. I never, goes on to say, I never knew where evil grew. So it has a kind of creepy vibe.
Yeah, it's like a slight mismatch in the music and the lyrics, I think, which I always like. I like the paradox of it so far. Kind of has a little haunted sort of theme to it. So I'm curious to see where these lyrics are going to go. It sounds like they're going to maybe take a dive.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see if any of the listeners have heard of this band. Okay. It's not like, okay, this is not something that pops out, pun intended, from our history. Like these guys were chart toppers. Okay. I don't even know what position.
I just found something because I realized the name of the guy, Terry Jacks.
Yeah.
In the band, he had a hit solo song.
Okay.
It was called Seasons in the Sun.
No.
Oh.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I have joy, I have fun, I have seasons in the sun. That's who that is. I was like, okay, Terry Jacks sounds familiar, and I just popped it up, and sure enough, man, it says, yeah, he was Vancouver. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Family, that's him. Wow, that's interesting. Cool, neat.
So, and it's so interesting how so many people had played different parts in different bands.
Yep.
So was Seasons in the Sun before this or after, I wonder?
Seasons in the Sun was after. This is early stuff. I think he left the Poppy Family solo after like 71, something like that. Or at least that's what I'm looking at right now. I just recognize that name.
Okay. So we're going to play a clip from a movie here in a minute, but let's listen to the next part of the song. I think it goes into the chorus.
Okay.
So, again, here we go.
I should have steered away from you. My friend told me to keep clear of you, but something drew me near to you. I never knew where evil grew.
So
it's cool.
This song, it's obviously talking about a person, but one of the reasons I like it, it seems like it's talking about something more. There's something else going on there. And I feel like it hints at something supernatural, right?
Yeah.
Like evil growing. It's like, man, I was warned about you, and we think as Christians of being warned about the devil or the enemy or, certain people, to stay away from. So I feel like there's possibly two messages going on in this song. Vicki?
Yeah, this just shows how far down the rabbit trail I am. When you said like, well, obviously it's about a person, I'm like, it is. My brain like always goes to like the anthropomorphic, like, what are they really trying to tell us? What are they hiding? But yeah, I was totally more thinking like the garden, like especially it starts out like, I like the way you smile. And it's like that whole kind of concept of the deception.
Yeah.
The deception.
Well, it does. And it seems like it's talking about that without saying any of those things about the Garden of Eden.
Right.
Verse 1, it says, I like the way you smile at me. I felt the heat that enveloped me. Love that word, enveloped. And what I saw, I like to see. I never knew where evil grew. Okay. Verse 2, I should have steered away from you. Take these lyrics and apply them to the Garden of Eden, right?
Yeah.
Or any temptation scenario in our lives. I should have steered away from you. My friend told me to keep clear of you, but something drew me near to you. I never knew where evil grew. So that dark, drawing in.
Yeah. Who was the friend?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So as I'm listening to this song, I couldn't quit thinking about this clip from the movie The Lord of the Rings. Okay. So I want to play this. You guys remember when the whole crew was I forget where they were. Is before the battle at Helm's Deep. I can't remember all of the names in Lord of the Rings, but they went up to this king and they broke him free of this possession, of Sauron. Yeah. And they're all hanging out there. Well, Pip wakes up in the middle of the night and he wants to get this like a crystal ball type thing that Gandalf is sleeping with like a teddy bear. Okay. And he gets this thing. His buddy wakes up and says, like, hey, what are you doing? Don't touch that thing. But he just can't. He's drawn into it. So let's take a look at this clip. And this is what this makes me think of. So here we go from Lord of the Rings.
Pippin! Help! Stand up! What happened?
Mm.
Look at me. What did you see?
So anyway, you get the idea there. And
Hey,
I think
that
of,
movie looks really cool. What's it called?
Oh,
That is a good scene, though. That is a great scene.
no doubt. Hey, man, the Plantier is like the new chat box? Those AI chat boxes.
Yeah.
So, I've heard quotes people talk about, when you look into the eye of Sauron, it looks into you. You can't just stare into evil without it having an effect on you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that kind of pertains to a lot of the work that we do it through the black. We look at evil a lot, not in a way where we are, what am I trying to say? We have an interest in it, right? But because of investigation, research, exposure, when I'm reading a book, when I'm, this has just happened with me recently, okay, where I was doing research on a certain subject, on a certain person, and it just, it really had an effect on me. And I'm just like, I gotta put this down. I gotta put this down for a few days because it's just so wicked and so evil,
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that clip was fitting. Guys, go ahead, Kenny.
No, it's just funny when you're talking about that. I'm doing a lot of research right now on frequency, and a lot of my talks and things I'm coming up with that I've been doing some research that's something very similar with something that I was listening to. I started to get to where I could not listen to it, and it was a very, very popular song, a hit song, but the way it's recorded and the way they've shifted the frequency of what it is, it does something to me. I start to get a headache. I'm learning some really neat things. And it's funny because it's not an evil song, but there's something in it that jostles me every time I hear it. So I'm not going to talk about the song. We'll do that one time. It might show up on here. Who knows?
Well, I've even talking with Russ in the past, and he'll mention something as research, either a film or something like that. And I've gotten ready just to kind of review the film, and I'm like, I just can't do it. I don't want to watch this. And I'll tell you one that I did watch. I went back and watched it, and it was difficult because it was so dark. Was the movie Rosemary's Baby?
Oh yeah.
And when I began taking Russ's courses and meeting Russ and stuff like that, I wanted to go back and review some things that I saw when I was growing up. And I'm like, man, there's some truths in some of these movies.
Yeah.
And that's one that I was like, dude, I wish I wouldn't have. But then there were some other ones, like I had planned on doing, but I'm like, I just can't bring myself to do it, you know? So anyway, a little bit of a rabbit trail there, but I don't know if we're coming up here on the there's like a musical part in the middle. And Kitty, I want your take on this kind of, I think, what's a typical sounding 70s song. But
Yeah.
let's go ahead and play the next clip.
Cool.
Evil grows in the dark, where the sun it never shines. Evil grows in cracks and holes and lives in people's minds. Evil grew, it's part of you, and now it seems to be that every time I look at you, evil grows in me.
Okay, now listening to that chorus and then watching that Lord of the Rings clip, do you see why I kind of think it fit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's crazy? If you took just those lyrics and you did a cover of it, but it was covered by like a death metal band, so they had like the riffs and stuff that like went with it.
Yeah.
Everyone would retain those lyrics, absorb those lyrics much differently. They would they would see like, okay, this is evil, this is fearful, this but they're guising it in this, like, it's interesting that they call themselves the Poppy family, because I keep thinking like this Wizard of Oz, like poppy field, like where they're just like evil grows, and it's like, do you know what you're saying? Like, you're not matching what you're saying. And so a person almost walks away with that song stuck in their head, like singing it, not having any understanding really of the depth of the meaning of what they're actually saying. Like, it's like your brain is not going to absorb the lesson that's trying to be taught there, because the music is distracting you, calling you, hypnotizing you, I guess.
Yeah, I wish I had my guitar. I might go grab it actually, because I could hear what's going on with it.
Okay.
And what's interesting in terms of the chord structure, what they're doing is the song sounds like it's in G minor, and they're using a straight, like a G, 1 minor, 4 minor, and they're doing that back and forth, which is very, it's in the key, it's an Aeolian mode. It's like this, but the 5 chord in natural minor would be a minor chord, and they're not doing that. They're playing a B flat. They're playing a, let's see, they're playing they're playing like a B flat, a major 7 on the end of it. So they're adding these kind of rock elements, but the song is in G minor. But then when the chorus comes in, which is the darkest part, they go to B flat, which is the relative major, and they put this happy chord. When it goes evil grows in the dark, it's like B flat major. They shift it, which kind of throws off the whole idea of it. Like you're saying, somebody else would take the song. If you just read the lyrics, you'd be like, oh, this is going to be really, some kind of like, death from 1987 or something. It's going to be some kind of really death metal thing. It's not, but it works in terms of that time period. It's a psychedelic pop.
Yep.
It's very, it floats a little bit. There's a very, it doesn't quite say, hey, here's what we are. It's like, we're going to throw you this happy pop chord with an evil connotation over top of it. To me, it's the same thing that goes on with like the Willy Wonka movie, the original one, man. That song, that show has all these happy elements with really dark overtone music and visuals. You think about it, you're like, it's the juxtaposition. Hey, man, that movie is basically the same thing what this song is. It's that psychedelic. We're not going to give you a solid ground to stand on. We're going to throw with it a little bit. So
yeah,
it's different. Yeah, it's a cool song, man. Very different.
Yeah, if you want to grab your guitar, it's up to you, man. Hey, this song, like, gets real serious real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's talking first, it's describing, somebody else, saying, "Hey, I never knew where evil grew," and then they turn it back on themselves. Like this is affecting me.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
the presentation of the song, the music in it is so opposite of the message, and I feel like this is a deep theological message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
that
and I'm going to put it just from a musical standpoint with somebody writing it. I see this a lot and stuff where people will overthink the thing and be like, oh, the Beatles wrote this and thought about this being the flat 7 of 1 and all these different, or the 2-5-7 of this. And I'm like, no, they were just writing cool things they heard up from other songs. And the same thing with this, I think it's like, here's the chords I know. I'm going to make this song, and I put it into there, and I can analyze it and say, okay, this has a little more connotation, but I feel like they're mainly writing it from this is the chord knowledge they have. You know what I'm saying? Like this was what they were working with, and they're like, this will sound cool, even though it was a happy chord, and they're all psychedelic. I don't feel like they overthought this. It was just like, but it's very rock. It's very, it just has that connotation to it. It doesn't sound like it's like somebody had classical training or anything. It's very.
And people, a lot of times when people were very limited in their skill, it caused them to be more creative.
Yeah.
Because,
Oh yeah, no, they'll throw things in that shouldn't fit at all, and you'll be like, why does that work? It doesn't matter. It sounds cool.
Yeah,
That's exactly it.
Record labels and stuff would be like, no, that you're breaking the rules. You can't do that. And then it turns out to be just like some hit, and people are like, whoa, the Beatles, they were geniuses, when they did this, and they just made these simple sounding songs.
Yeah.
But it'd never been done before. They were just doing something that hadn't been done before. And we could have a long talk about how it was influenced, where the devil, was involved. And
with the Beatles,
like
we could get into Tavistock. We'll take that rabbit hole.
There we go. One of the reasons I like what we're doing here on Audiotopsy is I think so many people, when they listen to music, they default to just assuming it's a love song or it's a faded love song, but it's some sort of broken romance or falling in love. And I mean, several of the songs we've done, like Love Walks In, Van Halen, not a love song. Every Breath You Take by the Police, not a love song. Like Its Own, Audio Slave, not a love song. And this too, if you go into it just thinking, oh yeah, I can relate. I had a narcissistic boyfriend once, he was evil. Like if that's all you're thinking of is that everything is a love song, you're going to miss the profundity of some of these lyrics, like that evil. If I'm going to be in the presence of these things, soaking these things up, fraternizing with these things, even if I walk away from it, I will have absorbed some of what that was. And so it's deeply profound. And so it's just a shame that so many of us kind of just listen with one ear to our music. And it's like, we just assume everything's this love song. And a lot of songs really aren't. I think less of them than we think.
Yeah. Paul McCartney said, what was that song he had? Silly Love Songs.
Yeah.
We're not overthinking it here. Let's just go with it.
So the way that I found this this record is I found it in a box of records that I bought.
Wow.
And I was kind of like going through them, and I was like, where evil grows, yes. Okay, I'll bite this bait. Okay. And pulled it out, just put it on a stack of, records that I was going to listen to. And didn't listen to it probably for a couple weeks, and I was like, oh yeah, here's that song, and I put it on, and immediately I was like, oh, this is a really cool sounding song. It didn't sound like, it sounded progressive in a way that I was like, wow, this doesn't, to me it didn't sound like, even though it is that what you said, Kenny, that psychedelic rock, it still is different from the stuff from back then. And I feel like it's better sounding than maybe some of the popular bands of the day,
Yeah,
the
like
first one that pops to mind is Strawberry
the
Alarm.
alarm clock. That's what I was just gonna say. Dude. That's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, no, that's it, dude. That was it.
Tune in next week.
That was
So,
good.
well,
Good.
something is happening here because we had the same color shirt today.
Yeah, it is.
I feel pressure to keep this theme going, but I don't know if we can.
Hey, I will say this. I just was looking up something and realizing as the song kept going, I'm like, I know I've heard it and I don't know where, but I knew it was something, and it was something recent. And what it's from, because I teach a lot of kids music, and especially from movies and TV shows and stuff like that. This song was in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie in 2020.
Yeah, I found that out afterwards.
Yeah, it was.
Jim
Carrey does a little dance. He's Dr. Robotnik, and he picked the song for it, and that's where I've heard the melody. I was like, I know this from something, because kids will bring in stuff all the time on it. So really, that's really strange because it's a very unknown song, but yeah,
and it got a lot of popularity again recently.
Yeah,
and I didn't even hear it through that. Yeah, I just found a record in a box. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, this might be the instrumental part, so let's go ahead and listen to that. This next part here.
I like it.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool. It's cool.
So-
Cool progression.
So the song, I guess, or the guy Terry Jackson, "Seasons in the Sun," did that come out later in the 70s? Do you?
Yeah. Apparently, the Poppy family was him and his wife, and then they split and did solo careers, and that's when apparently "Season in the Sun" was originally supposed to be for the Beach Boys, and then he picked it and decided to do it his solo record. So
Okay.
and it sounds like a Beach Boys song. It has that vibe. So yeah, I think this was maybe "Season of the Sun" was maybe 73.
Now, if I remember correctly, the lady who sings there is Susan Jacks.
Yeah, that's his wife.
And she just passed away, I think, a year ago.
Oh.
Yeah. So sometime in the last couple of years. So anyway, okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, let's go into the next. I think we're going to have another verse here. We might have only 2 more segments of this. So
If I could build a wall around you, I could control the thing that you do, but I couldn't kill the will within you, and it never shows the place where evil grows.
So if I could build a wall around you, I could control the things that you do. But something about the will within you. I don't have the lyrics in front of me. I don't know if Katie can bring those up.
I couldn't kill the will within you,
but I can kill the will within you, and it never shows the place where evil grows. So it sounds like she's trying, and I don't know who the lyric writer is, but as the singer, she's trying to contain this evil. If I could build a wall around you, it's almost as if she wants to. She doesn't want to break relationship or break off whatever's going on with this person or this being, but they want to contain it. Okay, I don't know. I'm just I'm trying to figure out the lyrics here. What are you guys' thoughts?
I was kind of thinking it was sort of a paradox from the previous verse where it was like, if I'm in the presence of this evil, I'm going to absorb it, and now that evil's within me. But now it's basically like I'm trying to contain this evil so it can't get out, but it still can't override or kill the will that wants to not give into that or make, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's almost like maybe it's saying that almost like when evil gets inside of you, it still can't fully be the excuse there's still that will or that light in you that understands that that's not who you are or what you need to be. There's always still this remembrance or this knowledge or this understanding that this is evil. I don't know. I'm musing.
Yeah, no, but you know what? Also, too, when you think about it, it's very relatable to people because it does have that standard love song vibe of I should have stayed away from you, but I was still drawn to you, even though I know I shouldn't be with you. I'm gonna do these things, and then I think I can change you if I can put you in a wall and hold you and do this stuff. And that's that's a common theme.
It's the war with the flesh in Romans.
Yeah, that's what I feel like that too. That's what I was saying. It's very much a war with the flesh.
Yeah. Why do I do the things I don't want to do?
Yes, exactly. That's what it has that feel to it. You're like, okay, I know this is not right for me. I know this is not. I think a lot of people battle with that. That's very common, man. That is just,
Again, I feel like there's so many layers or levels to this song.
Yeah.
For the reason that I like it. And again, very interesting that it there seem to be so many biblical truths in it without any direct quoting from scripture.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
What did the songwriter go through, or how were they influenced? And if they were influenced by biblical things, why didn't anything show up in the song like similar to scripture? Maybe.
Yeah.
So,
honestly, that would be a situation if you did a little more research and found out if the songwriters were Christians, or just bringing that as a common theme from something, just kind of like, it's like, okay, I know I've heard this before, or this has something, and they just kind of assimilated it and not really knew what they were writing.
And the whole accusation, this is different from, hey, you broke my heart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Very much.
You're evil. Okay.
Sure.
And I guess I can't see it. Can anybody else read that?
Written by Terry Jacks.
Okay.
Verse 71. Have you noticed that the drums and percussion, Satwant Singh, somebody is probably Indian nature, and they've got sitar in it. This is very much that early 70s crossover from like the Beatles utilizing a lot of the Hindu type stuff, and the sitar starting to come into it. They probably, everybody was like, oh, let's bring this in. Let's bring this into what we're, a little Eastern music stuff.
Kenny, and I know you're familiar with like Rick Beato, in YouTube channels like that. I'm fascinated by where music came from and how it kind of evolved, like song for song,
I love that stuff.
What was going through the minds, what were the influences, and many times musicians will say, well, I was listening to this song and I straight up stole this but changed it a little bit, and then play the popular song side by side, and it's like, oh, okay. There's so many examples from that. Like, this is not a good example, but Michael Jackson stole the bass or the rhythm and Billie Jean from Hall & Oates.
Right.
So,
but there's only so much stuff. That's what I tell people, man. At some point, it's neat the bands that pull it off, that can take it from something. One day I was listening to music and I was taking a nap, and I had a song come on in my brain. It went past the thing. I was actually, somebody I've talked to had been saying, oh, I want you to check out Wishbone Ash, which I didn't really know a lot about. So I spent some time listening. I was like, wow, great guitars, really great instrumental, prog rock, early 70s. And then when I was taking the nap, my thing ran through and it started playing other songs similar to that. So I'm listening to this song and I'm like, oh, I'm listening to Stairway to Heaven. And it was not Stairway to Heaven. It was another song. And then I did a little research and realized that this band opened for Led Zeppelin before they wrote the song.
Whoa.
You can look it up. It's a song called Taurus by a band called Spirit. Spirit opened for Led Zeppelin before they ever wrote this song. And when you hear it, you'll know right off the bat. It is the opening line. It's the descending, everything. Because I was asleep and woke up and went, why am I listening to Stairway to Heaven? And it wasn't. I pulled my phone up and I went, wow. It blew my mind. Yeah,
that's
isn't that crazy?
interesting.
I think they were actually. I think there was a lawsuit with that, and it just kind of got filtered out because Led Zeppelin, they were too big at that point. Whatever. We're gonna take your song. You're lucky.
Yeah.
I was listening to a song sung by Johnny Cash called Highway Patrolman.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, this structure of these lyrics, this sounds familiar. This sounds like a Bruce Springsteen song.
Oh.
And I looked it up, and it was a Bruce Springsteen song. And I'm like, whoa, dude, I just blew my own mind.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I was like,
Cash was doing a cover.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that's neat, man.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And I mean, people have patterns in the way that they write,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and things. So,
Yeah.
but it's interesting to see the breakdown, the influences. There's a lot of real world influences, and as we talk about on this show, there's also supernatural influences as well.
Oh,
and
to put a little bit of culture and context into this, according to Song Facts, which you never know if the information is accurate or if it's a narrative, but it says Terry started writing this song in the mid 60s, but couldn't finish it until he came up with the chorus, which was prompted by his environmental activism. The song is specifically about the pulp mills in Canada that Terry accused of pumping pollutants deep into the Pacific Ocean along the British Columbia coast.
Oh, great. This is a green song. This is
we should have known. It's the 60s, man. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not getting that from those lyrics.
I'm not either. I'm not either. That's right.
I can't see Terry with the guitar outside. I don't know. He might have been really high, and he's looking at the pulp mill. I like the way you smile at me, pulp mill. I feel the heat.
I know.
I don't get that.
I know, but it's
Song
also,
Facts. But no, get out of here.
But I also find it really fascinating because the 60s and 70s, half a century ago, and here's supposedly someone who thinks that there is some sort of psyop behind chemical pumping.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very timely. Like what goes around comes around. There's nothing new under the sun.
Ohio.
Yeah, we got the same stuff. So I don't know, Kenny, maybe you got to write a protest song about Ohio.
I'm going to write a song, and it's a duet with Greta Thunberg.
How dare you?
I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. It's going to be like, your part is terrible, Kenny.
It should be a collaboration between Greta Thunberg and Greta Van Fleet. They can do this.
Oh, what?
So,
yeah.
If Terry
Greta
Jack
Van Thunberg
wrote the lyrics to this song,
if what?
If Terry Jacks wrote the lyrics to this song, then it changes again. Because if it was about a person, it wasn't about a man, because that's what we get when you listen to it. Here's a woman singing about an evil man that broke her heart. Okay.
Maybe he was writing it from his wife's point of view about him.
Yeah.
That's why they got separated.
That's right. That's why they're not together anymore.
Right. Right.
Hey, let's think about Fleetwood Mac, man. Think about that. Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, their relationship created some of the best songs of all time, and it was over just crazy vibe. They could have had the same thing, man. It really could. It really could be that situation of that was written between them of knowing, oh my God, he could have been like, I'm terrible, and she's like, no, I love you, I can fix you.
This goes back to
great impressions.
Something that I've said before is that most of your broken-hearted songs come from men. No offense, Vic.
Really?
I'm not saying it's the rule, okay, but and I'm not saying that there's plenty of women that have written broken heart songs about men. I believe they're out there, but a lot of times when I hear a woman sing a song about her heart being broken, when I do the research, I'm like, a dude wrote this song.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying always, but
except for I Will Always Love You, Dolly Parton. That song is come on, that's one of the top.
Well,
You know what's interesting too, though, if you're looking at modern pop,
Yeah.
a lot of the breakup songs from women, it's not a vulnerable, my heart has been broken. It's a rage. It's like
Oh yeah.
Pink
Oh
So
yeah.
What, or what's the Carrie Underwood song, the When He Cheats or whatever one.
Oh yeah.
For all this, I'm gonna key your car and so what, and I don't care. And so it's almost like there are scorned women broken heart songs, but it's more sometimes an overflow of the rejection spirit, anger coming out than the you broke my heart. I really had hopes we'd get married and you'd love me and I'm hurt now. There's not a lot of vulnerability in them anymore.
Gunpowder and Lead, Miranda Lambert.
wow.
I mean, I teach a lot of songs, so you hear a lot of that stuff. You're right, man. The newer scorned women songs are more like, okay, I'm going to be super empowered now, and you're going to get yours.
Yeah,
a lot of the songs written from guys, they're talking about drinking themselves to death,
right?
Over a girl. So,
or the Scorpions, No One Like You. There's no one like you. That's, come on, man. That's classic. Good stuff.
Classic breakup.
Classic.
I think we got one more clip to this song.
Oh no, we're done.
Okay. No.
Evil grows in the dark, where the sun it never shines. Evil grows in cracks and holes and lives in people's minds.
Ooh, I like that.
It's part of you, and now it seems to be that every time I look at you, evil grows in me.
So,
interesting.
Going back to my connection with the movie Lord of the Rings, when I look at you, evil grows in me. Okay, of course, that's not what they were singing about, but that's the connection that I made. But how evil is this person or this corporation that when you look at it, it makes you evil, right? Like, I don't get, the inspiration for that.
Well, right, because it'd be like if you are protesting something, the last thing in the world you're going to do is like, that's not going to inspire in you. Like, and now I'm just like you,
Yeah,
it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, right. I think I said right off the bat, it says, I like the way you smile at me. Where's that coming from? I mean, that does not seem like some kind of ecological pulp mill thing.
Yeah, pulp mill.
I don't get that at all. That's just,
I mean, I can see where the emotion behind his anger might have led to writing the lyrics. But the lyrics doesn't seem to have a direct relation.
I keep going back to this accusation again. I wonder how this song charted. Was it top 20? Was it top 40? How did people feel about this song? Did it make them feel like, ooh, I don't know if I like this song? I wonder what people thought about it. Again, it's I mean, could you imagine like you're back in 1972 and you hear a song, you broke up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you're like, oh yeah, you were evil. Like maybe, I don't know if I want to take the accusation to that level, that these people are taking. Maybe they do, maybe it's, I'm thinking this goes beyond having your heart broken. Like when I look at you, then I become evil. That's how, I mean, were they dating a witch or a warlock, a Satanist? Who, like, what was
I can relate.
Yeah.
I can relate. Hey man, I had a girlfriend in high school that was so crazy. She tried to run me over with a car one time. That was really fun.
Oh man.
Wow.
Bonkers.
This song applies.
Okay, man. I'm just saying, man.
Getting a little too close to home.
I'm just saying, I'm feeling this song right now.
Yeah.
We used and it was right at the pulp mill when she tried to run me over. It was crazy.
Kenny, She was probably jealous of your 80s hair.
You know what? That was super 80s hair, man. This was like early. Yeah, I think it was just, I might have had a little mullet, maybe. I don't know.
I could see the music video for this song, like somebody almost getting ready, ran over by a car. They jump out of the way. Then that first, that intro.
I like the way you smile. That was it. I'm diving out of the way. Driving by. That's it.
Wow.
I might make a video with this song now. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm inspired.
Wow.
Make my own version of this.
Man.
Oh, dude.
How did we survive the world before those anti-bullying laws, you guys? It's a miracle we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So overall, what are your thoughts? I wanted to bring something. Well, I don't know. I found this song, and we tend to try to, we talk about songs that are well known, a lot of the time on this show, and there's a lot of well-known songs from the 60s and 70s. That's going to be the theme for the next 5 weeks. Overall thoughts on this song?
I liked it. I really liked the music. Like, I liked the melody and the instrumentation. And I did like the kind of the paradox between the lyrics and the music, but I'm still a little perplexed by the lyrics. I'm still a little I gotta still contemplate exactly what message were they trying to get through there. So,
yeah,
I
This seems like it could be like a goth song almost.
I know.
Yeah, I want to hear Typo Negative. That would have been a great song for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You know how they took Summer Breeze and made it that really dark song?
Yeah.
They could take this and change it a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course, he's the guy. The lead singer's gone, so I can't do it.
This also could have been a Rick Rubin, Johnny Cash song.
It totally could. Yeah,
Sure,
absolutely.
sure.
I totally hear that. No, I that would be spectacular. Yeah, hearing Cash sing this, that would have been something.
Mm.
I could totally hear that.
Kenny, final thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want to see the Pet Shop Boys do this one. It's not going to be good. That's my thought. I don't think so, man. I mean, I'm not. Hey, look, it's good. They had their time and place, but I just don't think this remake's going to work for them. So,
I definitely want a mashup of Greta Van Thunberg.
Greta Van Thunberg is coming, man.
That has to be a mashup. That has to be a mashup.
If she finds out about this song, this will be her theme song. Like if she finds out why it was written.
She'd be like, Terry Jacks felt the pulp mill just like I feel with pollution. Yeah, that's it right there, man. Gosh, crazy. I don't know. Actually, I wouldn't mind. I mean, honestly, I think this song could probably be redone by somebody and be pretty spectacular. It's it's all over the place. I think half the song is that they wrote it at one time period and they wrote another part in a different time period.
Yeah,
and they don't completely mash up. But
yeah,
a lot of people don't read lyrics like that. I overthink lyrics because that's the way my brain thinks. But I realize that people sometimes do not care at lyrics at all. Some songs are just like, I don't care what the lyrics say. They just kind of whatever, mishmash of, hey, it kind of rhymes.
I was listening to an explanation recently about a song that was written, over a period of time. And sometimes they do that. They'll start a song and they're like, I just can't get the chorus,
Yeah.
And then something clicks like, years later.
Yeah. We kind of got that too with Chinese Democracy, because Axl took like 20 years to write that album, and it was so weird in the 2000s to hear songs that were written back in the 80s and like hear that again. And so you could definitely tell throughout the album like which songs he had been sitting on longer than others. It's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, there was some great songs on that album too. I mean, there was some cool stuff on it. So
yeah. Well, I think I know the example is maybe the song Jump. The song Jump and that keyboard intro was around for years, but the band kept rejecting it, and Eddie wanted it. And they're like, no keyboards. And finally on the album 1984, he was able to, just kind of force it through. And it became a hit. Well, I think it went to number one.
Yeah, it's probably one of their biggest songs of all time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everybody wanted a keyboard player.
Yeah. Which again, for a guitar-driven band, especially Eddie Van Halen. You know, a guitarist like that. But well,
yeah, I think it had to do with how synthy it was, because he'd done keyboard stuff in songs previously. You know, like in The Cradle Will Rock was on like an electric piano with distortion.
Yes.
So that still sounded rock. Jump sounded like it was like, whoa, what is this? It came out, you're like, oh, this is a little too happy. But it worked. It worked.
So the Poppy family, Where Evil Grows. I guess they had another song called Where Did You Go, Billy, or something like that, which I think I listened to that a couple of weeks ago. I looked it up just to see what it was. And it's not as catchy as this song.
You should have brought out the album. I wanted to see the actual album.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have, all I had was the 45.
Oh, just the no sleeve, nothing.
No,
just
cover on it. So,
that's so cool.
But I don't know. This song I think is really, really interesting. I feel like this is what I call buried treasure. Okay. I found it in a box and I pulled it out. And the music, obviously, music coming out today is horrible. It's a nightmare. So my son and I
get off my lawn.
What's that?
I said, get off my lawn, Tom.
My son and I like going backwards to listen to music. Okay. And I've been learning so much from him about music. And we just been kind of sharing this with each other, and he doesn't always like the stuff that I pick, and I don't always like the stuff that he picks. But I think this is a good example of buried treasure, and this, I just feel like this is maybe underrated in the way, maybe lyrically underrated. Just like there was a lot more going on here than maybe even the guy writing Terry Jacks even knew. So yeah, very interesting. We want to know what you guys think. Please leave us a comment. Good song, bad song. Do you see the maybe biblical influence at all? What do you know? What do you know about the writer of the song? I didn't really do my homework for this. I just focused on the song. And then, like I said, when we went live, I was like, oh, shoot. I forgot.
I really didn't do my homework.
Yeah.
At all.
That's right. No more vacations for you.
Hey, and we've been trying to do this for the last few shows where it's a blind reaction. And I like that, but I also like when you guys come prepared and you've done a little research, or you get a chance to listen to it. But it's kind of cool just to kind of hear this too. And this was a good one because you guys had not really heard of this before. So
yeah. Reactions are cool if it's like you've never seen Stevie Ray Vaughan live at the El Macambo or something that's going to visually and just audio stun you. But if you're going to try to analyze lyrical content and it's the first time hearing it, it's sometimes hard to really, sometimes you got to absorb things for a while before you really understand the mind of the writer.
Well, yeah. And if you guys were to check this song out for a month, you might find some things in there like, oh, shoot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Even the couple times we listened to it, I kept hearing different types of chordal progressions and sounds. Like at the end, you could really hear the sitar a lot coming through that. And that kind of, snake imagery.
Well, and that Middle Eastern influence was definitely present. Okay. This is a Canadian band. Okay. And then we think of, that Indian influence definitely there with the Beatles, right? Especially philosophically and religiously.
Norwegian Wood was the first song. The Beatles brought the sitar. They had never been utilized in any kind of Western music before. If you listen to that, that's where it kind of came in. Harrison brought that to it. So
not surprised.
Interesting.
Yeah. Guys, throughtheblack.com is the website. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for sharing it and just the support. Kenny.
I got one more thing, man.
Yeah.
I really think that somebody that the popcorn company Jiffy Pop needs to take this song and call it "Where Evil Pops" and have their thing with Jiffy Pop.
Hey, man.
Jiffy Poppy, the Jiffy Poppy family.
Did you hear that? That's a free one. Kenny C.
I'm just giving that away, man. That's it.
Right.
Or do you want paid for that?
I'm good for that.
Okay.
That's free, man.
He's good. There you go. Jiffy Pop.
I got millions of them.
Yeah.
Millions
Okay.
of them.
Good. First one's free. Next time.
Next week, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kenny needs to get paid. So, guys, throughtheblack.com. Don't forget about the conference, Out of the Darkness. Kenny's going to be there. Vicky's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Colleen's going to be there. Sean's going to be there. Pastor Mike Spalding, Coach Dave Daubenmeyer, Sherry Clausen, Dr. Gregory Reed.
Woo.
We're going to talk and expose where evil grows. Come out March 31st, April 1st, 2023. It's going to be a wonderific time. Guys, tomorrow night, Pastor Sean's going to be bringing Supernatural Saturday. We love you. God bless you all. Bye.